Motormouth Jenkins here, welcoming you to our brand new YouTube channel. Hope that you'll come back and see every segment each and every week, and I will share preventative maintenance tips and regularly scheduled maintenance tips for your car. So whether you know a little bit about your car or absolutely nothing, this is the channel just for you, where I share over 35 years of experience as a qualified and licensed service technician with truck and coach, light truck and passenger vehicles. Come back and visit us and tell your friends, and we'll see you each and every week right here in the Car Connection Workshop on YouTube. Okay, welcome back to our 78 C3 L48 Corvette. This is the original motor. I won't go into all the details, but we have an issue, and you'll have to take a look at the picture that I took. Gee, I wonder why the hood won't close. There's your clue. Couple of things going on here. I didn't build this project. I have gone over this car from front to back, and I'll share all the details in another video. You know, I'll just say, be very cautious when you're buying a project vehicle that has been taken apart completely and put back together, because pretty much everything that they've touched, I've had to redo, take apart and redo, and that's where I am here. I never really gave it much thought. Why, when I bought it, was the hood cropped open about 2 inches or so? I just thought, well, you know, the latches might not be adjusted right. But anyways, the car went out for body and paint, and the body and paint has all been done. And I'm now at the point, I'd like to have the hood closed so we could drive it, and the hood wouldn't close. So we determined that the height of the carburetor with the air breather on, whether it was a factory one or just a little chrome cheesy one from China, the cheesy chrome package that I totally dislike, we'll leave it at that, didn't make any difference. The intake was just too high. So in other words, you'll see from the picture, because I took a snapshot, that the air cleaner is like way up here, and the hood is like right here, and you can see the perfect circle from the air breather, the hood laying on top of it. So a couple of things going on here. We're going to pull this intake manifold out, but we also had a coolant leak here. I changed the gasket, changed the thermostat, it still leaked right here. Took it off again, put another thicker gasket in there, and yes, fellas, I used some ATV, and I didn't slather it on the thickness of a hot dog, and it still leaks on this side. So I'm going, there's a problem here. So come in here, Skippy. There's two problems with this intake. You're never going to solve it from leaking. Look at this, how wide this is here, and look at how wide it is here. One is ticky, one is tinny, and I've marked it. I've marked that spot because the reason it leaks is because it's not flat there. This is a flat edge, and I can slide my feeler blade right underneath it. It's not machined right in that spot. If I come over here, look, I can't get the feeler blade in here, and this is only 3/1000ths of an inch. I can go thicker and it still goes through over here. So it's not flat, it's like this. So this needs to be machined at the machine shop to bring it true. Again, otherwise, you can gasket that all day, you can double gasket it, you can triple gasket it, it's still going to squeeze out antifreeze right here. So that's what you got to do to fix that. And yes, I used a genuine, brand spanking new GM part numbered thermostat housing that I had in stock, and it still leaked. And I'm going, this should not be happening. We need to look a little deeper, find out why that's happening. The intake is a nettle broken. So I think it's defective right from the factory. So it's coming out because the problem is it's too big here. It's too tall. And they had the wrong gasket on here for the carburetor. Thank you very much. Here you go. Wrong gasket. Another problem. That's why I still couldn't get the carburetor completely dialed in the way I wanted, because it can't function right. So, how do we go about this? Well, we got to take the distributor out, and I want to do it fast and furious. So, I don't care where the rotor is pointed. I'm not struggling to get on the pulley and set it up to number 1 and get it to 0. I can pull a distributor out at any position and I can put it right back in where it is. Okay, so 2 things. What direction does this distributor turn? Clockwise or counterclockwise? Well, if it's counterclockwise, we could be in Australia. But here's how you figure it out. See the vacuum advance right here. Follow it like an arrow. If you shot an arrow, it would go in and come around this way. So the distributor turns clockwise. To make sure I put the distributor right back where it came out from, I put a piece of tape on the valve cover. I follow the vacuum line here, and any marker you have, whether you want white, green, purple, or plaid, mark it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be in the zone. So now I know the distributor is rotating clockwise. My vacuum advance is pointing at this direction. And so when I put it back in, it needs to be where? In this direction. Now I'll show you what else I do to kind of get it done quick and fast. All right. Skippy, let's trade places for one moment. So let's do a do-si-do. How you doing? How you doing there? High five. All right. So I pull distributors out. I don't care where it is. There's the rotor. It's pointing right here. Again, I used my white marker over there because I can see this really good. And I've marked the distributor where the rotor is, down here, right down here. So there's my mark. So now I know where my distributor's facing on the vacuum advance. So I put it right back in the advanced position that it's going to want. It's pointing right here. I put my cap on. So what terminal is it pointing at? I'm calling this number 1. That's where I started. So the rotor needs to go back to number 1. So I've also marked the wires 1 through 8 clockwise, because I'm going to change the distributor cap too because it's junk. So in here again, Skippy, I've marked my terminal with my white marker down here. That's where the rotor is going to be pointing. I've also marked the distributor housing at the bottom, so I know I need to be here and there at the bottom of the distributor when I'm done. So now, guess what I do? Pull them all off. Come on, you furry varmint. There we go. And nobody put any dielectric grease on these wires. They're dry to the freaking bone. You got to put electric grease on them. I like that the cap has brass terminals, not aluminum. If you can get a brass terminal distributor cap at any time, get it. It's more money, but get it. And you want heavy duty. This cap is just a cheap and nasty. It's better than most. Look how black this is. Another problem. It's black here, and it's showing wear and tear. There's carbon there. Look in here. The button is worn away, and I should be able to push that in and out under spring pressure, light spring pressure. There's another problem beginning, and the terminals inside they're scored and pitted. It's over. It's got to come off. So I have a nice distributor cap to go on I had in stock, so that's what we're going to do. We'll change it over, and I'll show you how to do that in another video. Okay, let's do-si-do one more time. Skippy, are you ready? Alrighty then. Hey, he's coming. How you doing there? I've seen you before somewhere. So we're not using that. To go back on, we've got a base gasket, and this is what I'm putting on. It's vintage. It's a little dusty, heavy duty, Jacobs Electronics. That's the cap I'm putting in. We're going to do it up right and tight. Got a new gasket for the thermostat housing right there. And that's all I should have to put in, is about that thickness with a little bit of RTV. And I like these because it's peel and stick. Then I'll put a little bit of RTV on here. I won't put it on as thick as a pepperette. We're a hot dog, guys. That's way too much. Way too much. Okay, so now we're going to pluck that distributor out. Distributor wrench. You got to have these. You got to have a 1/2 inch, and you got to have a 9/16. So we're going to pluck that out of there. See how that turns? That's your advance timing, advanced retard, but I know where it needs to go, right? So when I put it back in and tighten it up, guess what? I just make sure I'm pointed at my number 1, that I've made number 1 over here. See? And my vacuum advance to my stripe, and we're there. So you can swing that out of your way now. And I got to get the bolt off. We'll pluck that out of here, and I'll change the ignition rotor, and I'll clean the distributor out too. Do a little service while I'm in there. Put a little electrical grease on the module, because what happens is there's a heat sink on the back of the modules on these HEI ignition systems. High energy ignition, HEI. Put a little dielectric grease on the back of the module, and it prevents it from burning out because they run hot, just like your cell phone battery runs hot. Same thing, exactly the same thing. So the dielectric grease creates a heat sink. Okay, so that's out of here. Here I got my container. See what I do with it? Bam! That's what goes in there. So I pull the lid off, and you can pull the tape out. All my bolts are going to go right in there, and then I'll snap the lid on. Nothing's falling anywhere in this motor. So out we come, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for that. Got a towel here to go right around the distributor, protect the gear, and onto my bench. And I'll clean that and put a new gasket. There isn't even a gasket on here. See that? They put RTV on here. There should be a fibrous gasket here. Guess where the next oil leak's going to be? Right here. Right there, friends. You know, guys, do the job right. Do it accurately. I have no patience for halfway done. And same with these wires. I'm going to tidy those up more. I've done them on the bottom, and I put new plugs in. You got to do the job right. All right, next up for bids. Can you put that in my tray there, Skippy? Yeah, there you go. Have you ever manhandled a distributor wrench before? Well, now you have. Ha ha! All right, we're going to zap these bolts out. I don't usually use air, but we're under time constraints today, and things got out of hand with the universal joint extravaganza. Let me tell you, that was a horror show. I got to get a socket over there, Skippy, coming to visit you. Do you have any snacks? Anything today? Nothing? Well, we got to fix that problem, Pilgrim. Yeah, all right. You don't mind if I borrow a tool or two, do you, Skippy? Because that is officially your position right now. So let's see if we can get these babies out. And I will make sure that, oh, I need the universal joint. See that little thing? No, you won't know what it is. Sorry. You will in a minute. Coming back. This is the other Skippy. He's semi-retired. We think he's creepy, but he needs a hat and some kind of shirt. And maybe a bath. We might throw him in the wash. Okay, that's what I wanted, but that's not the size. Okay, it's good to have your toolbox close to you. Always have your tools close to you, guys. It saves tons of time. Now in this shop, because we're tight, I can't roll that box around. Let me tell you, you get that box rolling, you're a dead man trying to stop it. I've had it crush me against a truck. I can tell you from firsthand, it's heavy and it's full. Okay, So we're going for it. Now I did not put this intake on here. I just want you to know that. So as I take the bolts out, they go in there. Why? I don't want anything dropping into this engine because we're open right now. So what you can do as a cautionary measure is I don't want anything going down in this motor. It's a brand new motor. It's the motor from the factory. It's the original motor, so we want to keep it that way. We might not get that. That's going to be a hand jobby. Loosen them off. Yeah. Okay, so you want to be tough, eh? All right. So we'll come back to those in a minute. Shorten your shaft and get a short one on there. Makes a huge difference, see? And the washers, they're not right. They're buckled, see? They're buckling. They're dishing in. Not hard enough. Not a hard enough washer. Bad install. Yep. Cheesy, cheap hardware store washers. They're all junk. I'll put heavy duties on there. You do not want, and we will torque this to spec too when we're done. I have a gasket set, and I'm going to show you a couple tricks on that too when we get there. So I won't bore you with scraping this mess down and having to get all the old gasket off and everything. We'll bring you back into the picture. I will probably, I know most definitely, replace the hardware with much better bolts. They didn't even put any anti-seize on those. So in my eyes, total failure. Sitting right here. Total failure. Lousy work. Lousy workmanship, man. Lousy. Guys, you got to do the job right, man. It looks pretty, but you know what? It's a mega headache waiting for you on the road, let me tell you. You want to get stranded going to a car show or taking the little woman or your girlfriend out for a nice ride past all her friends and she's in a Corvette and it breaks down? Nice. She probably won't accept the next call. No, I'm not coming out. I got to weed whack my legs, shave my legs with the weed whacker or something useful like that. But you're not getting another date. You left her walking. You don't want that. Yeah, lousy hardware. Lousy hardware. So I just want you to see what it looks like when it's off of here. And there'll be lots of cleanup and prep work before we even consider putting the next intake manifold on. Getting some hardware, getting the washers. Now we got to get these other ones that I can't really get to. We got to get them undone. Yeah, the center ones are tough. They didn't even put any sealant. I always put anti-seize on those bolts because they're going into ports on the head and they can get seized in there big time. Big time. So again, it's doing the job right. This is a good thing that we're on this because problems are going to come up. I've had to change the clutch fan. I got rid of it had electric fans on. Goodbye. You know what I like about a clutch fan? I know for sure it's going to work. The electric cooling fans, I'm not a fan of the electric cooling fans. Not a fan. And there's some oil on that one. And this bolt is just about ready to break. Why? Because they over-torqued them. I should be able to get these undone by hand. Okay, I'm going to go on that side for a minute and get those other two bolts off. I'm just going to move this stuff out of the way. I don't want anything falling in the motor. Just get it out of the way. We'll deal with it after. And I'm going to attempt to get these ones undone by hand. Yeah. On the factory, I'm putting a factory intake on, so it's going to be pretty good. Let me try something here. Right here. You get a different style. Oop, I need the socket. This one. 9/16 flex head ratchet. That usually gets in there. Sometimes it's the angle that is no good. We'll get that one for sure. Okay. Then as soon as I'm going to take a little bit of air and blow this off, and that's okay, that's open, that's coolant, nothing's going to bother me there, but that hole has to be closed when I blow that off, and just make sure there's nothing hanging around that's going to go into the motor, because you'll see the motor is going to get naked here in a minute. One more bolt. Okay, everybody together, make a wish and say, Motor Mouth, you can do it. You can do this. He's an animal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm all right. I'm all right. My mother never had to check on me when I was playing with my toys. She'd say, who are you talking to? Nobody. Okay, last bolt. And like I said, I won't bore you with the rest, the cleanup and whatnot, but it will bring you back when I've got the block all cleaned and the old gasket scraped off and we're ready to put it back together. I'll bring you into that because there's do's and don'ts there as well. All right, so those bolts, again, don't leave them laying there. We're going to blow it down a little bit. These trays work excellent to hold your tools. Get some. And baskets. I'll use baskets and containers to hold my stuff while I'm working. I don't have stuff laying on the floor. I don't have my parts that are coming off laying on the floor. When you work neat and clean, and I used to work on a dragster every Friday. I was blessed to be able to part of the team back at the shop. That's it. They're in there. And they're marked. And I can set them on my bench in line. So now we just need a little blower. And we need a little hammer. Which is, hey, I found it. And we're not going to use a flat screwdriver for this, and I'll explain it on the way. And I stole another air blower out of my my other toolbox. The one I like died. Yeah, and I really liked it too. It was a good one. So again, my engine internal is closed off right here. This doesn't bother me being open because I'm not putting this intake back on, and it's got to be fixed. It's got to be machined before it can go on anything else. And we need to make sure we have the proper gasket to go on there. And this is just the coolant. So close your eyes, count to 3. Okay, hip ho. This is the one I really like. It's amazing, but it's split, and I need to find another one. This is a Tema, and it's made in Sweden. My father got this for me, and this is an amazing blower. I love the tip, and it's multi-tipped. So anybody out there, if you find one, send it to me, and I'll send you something nice back. I don't know where my father got it. He's 89 years old, and I'm not going to bother him. Okay, so now what do? We go in from the side here, gently, and I'm using a 1-inch flatty, and make sure that the chamfer, it's flat on the bottom. So this is chamfered, so as it goes in, it's going to lift. Makes a difference. And you hear that hollow sound? You say happy day, and then just gently lift, fold, and separate. Okay, I'm coming over there, Skippy. Be careful. I'm warning you, you furry varmint. I'm coming over. Same corner. Be gentle. Be gentle. I'm fragile. I used to tell my mom that when she's spanking me with a wooden spoon. Be gentle, Mommy. I'm fragile. Ta-da! It's off, and we can have that back now. So, lousy install, I gotta say, super lousy, and I'm gonna tell you some more problems that I see that would have been problems on the road. And I'll just set this here with Skippy. Keep an eye on that. Never use this rubber gasket. Never. I don't use the cork ones either. You'll see when I put it together, these always push out, even though it's got the pins. Look at how floppy that is. They go spongy and they fall out. The back one usually first. So I don't use these out of the kit. I say, see ya. That's what I tell them. And I'm being nice about it too. So there's our intake gasket. Yeah, just a real lousy install. Yep, so we'll just pull the other one off too. We got a new set to go on there. That's not even clean enough either. Not even clean enough to put that kit on. That was a opportunity for poop to happen. So this is the inside of the motor. These are your valve push rods, your valve lifters, so things are plunging up and down. You got rockers on the top rocking. The babes are rocking, and the push rods are pushing the lifters. And then there's a long shaft in here with goose eggs on. And so as the goose egg changes its position, it moves the push rods. So this is the internal workings of the motor, and I'll get this all cleaned off in a timely fashion, but I won't bore you with that. But I'll show you what I do and how I install the intake gasket. But this is, my boss from the past would say, you're not putting the new kit on there. That's not clean enough. So we always lay material in the valley. So I'll show you how I do that. These are the methods I use. If you want to use them, great. If you've got your own, go ahead. But this is how I do it. Clean cloths, no lint. No lint. Lint gets into the bearings and will destroy your motor. These cloths are lint free, and I lay it in there, and I'll leave this in there. When I scrape all the crud off, it'll all land on there like a nice little tray. And so as I scrape, everything will fall in there, and I'll make sure I clean the valley as well when I'm done. So now I do not leave it like that, because we've got stuff to do. So I always have a box of cloths to cover things up. You never leave an engine open, because if something goes down these ports and you don't see it, that engine's over when you fire it up. So I just set this in there, and I know I'm covered. I've done my job. Yeah. Nobody's in here doing work or whatnot, because if they were, then I would cover it again and blanket the whole thing and say goodnight, Irene. That's phase one. So we've just found multiple problems, and if I was capable right now of unhooking the hood, I would say, if I were a betting man, 100% the hood's going to close. It's not a latch issue on either side. It's a height issue. So till next time, like, share, follow, tag, and subscribe. It's free. And watch all of our videos, because I teach exactly the same way. I don't just bing, bang, boom and get in there. I want you to understand all the bits and pieces, what they are, where they are, how they work. Is it broken? How does it break? How do I prevent it from breaking? And how do I save you time, money, and a few bloody knuckles? Is on how to do the job and do it well. Maybe most of you wouldn't tackle this, but now it gives you a better understanding what's inside the motor, why did I need to change it, where were some of the problems waiting for me that are going to leave me stranded at a car show or a fundraising event or just on the roadway and embarrassing the snot out of myself because I know better. So again, like, share, tag, follow, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of Niall Motormouth Jenkins in the Car Connection Workshop. So keep it under 100, happy motoring, and put the coffee on because we're coming to your house.